Hi, this is Tom Knight from the Atlanta Institute of Music. Today is Tuesday, September 9, 2014, and joining me live and in person today for this edition of FaceTime FastLane is the one and only Mike McKnight. And his list is so long I've got to read it. He is a programmer for some of the biggest names in music, including Paula Abdul, Selena Gomez, Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson, TLC, which yours truly played on also, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. It doesn't get much cooler than that.
Yeah, it was cool.
He plays keyboards and has appeared live on stage with Earth, Wind and Fire, Paula Abdul, Madonna, and Mariah Carey, who he's been with now for over a decade and a half and is out on the road with currently. How are you, my friend?
It's good to see you, Tom.
Likewise,
it's been too long.
It has been way too long.
Without Facebook, I wouldn't have seen you at all. It's terrible.
It is. I need to get out more.
Yeah, so
Well,
right.
talk to us a little bit about what the job of programmer entails.
Okay. Basically, I'm a glorified karaoke machine. Basically, all the parts that you're hearing that are from the record that the guys in the band couldn't play, or the artist wants it to sound a certain way, comes from me. When I start my rig, I'm sending time code to video, lights, sound, so that so everything's automated. Sometimes even the set moves are automated.
Wow.
And with Roger, you would start the show, and it would just run for like an hour, and then we'd stop for Act 2, switch real quickly to Act 2 and start that, and just runs for hours at a time, and it's working beautifully. I use Digital Performer on the road. I have Pro Tools at home. I think you have to know Pro Tools, but I would never use it live. It's just too unwieldy for the kind of work I do.
I remember you used Digital Performer on the TLC tour.
Yep. And it worked every night, and you have hundreds of different versions in there. Pro Tools, you have one session at a time. Unless you do it linearly, it's just a pain in the ass.
I see.
So
you get to deconstruct the tracks from the masters.
Yeah, they send me the mastered Pro Tool sessions, or back in the old days with TLC, they would transfer everything to ADAT, 8 tracks at a time, and then I would just fly it into DP.
Now, have you ever stumbled upon a track that surprised you to find out it was in that song? Have you ever uncovered any Easter eggs?
Well, Madonna, the album Ray of Light had so much great stuff in there. So much. William Orbit did that album, and it's just stellar. It's the best record she's ever done, and it was back when dance music was interesting, as opposed to now where I just want to kill myself. So. Anyway.
Describe a typical day on the road, say, with Mariah.
Well, with Mariah, right now we're in band rehearsals, so I get here about 11 in the morning. Band rehearsals from noon till about 8, and then I'll work for another few hours if needed. And then once we get to production rehearsals, it gets really nuts, because you have to split up the stage time with the dancers, and things are constantly changing with her. So it's very long days. Once you get on tour, you usually, the load-in starts around 5 or 6 in the morning. I don't get the stage till about 11 or 12. Band usually sound checks around 3 or 4. Mariah doesn't know what a sound check is, so, anyway. Some people have different ways. Roger Waters, every day, sound checked, played. He had to put on every guitar and made sure it worked, so he could go back to his dressing room and relax and come out and put on a good show. Mariah just feels like she's got good people. She knows what she's doing. So, yeah, it's done.
And it works in both scenarios.
Most of the time.
Has anything ever just gone wrong?
No, because I not on a live show. I try and work out the bugs ahead of time. Like, for example, here I'm having an issue going Thunderbolt to this unit so I can have more USB ports and Ethernet ports. And I think it's screwing with my show, so it's about to get heave-hoed. So, I'm just going to have to live without it.
I remember, if I can talk about this for just a second.
Sure.
On a TLC tour, some moron came by and hit the space bar during the performance, and a testimony to your effectiveness. And as a programmer, you shoved the guy out of the way first, and then figured out where we were in the song, advanced the playhead, and kicked the music back in with the band. Fortunately, the band's instruments were live and mic'd, and we were
right.
playing, and the girls never knew.
Yeah, well, that happens because sometimes the girls can't count, you know, and they and they come in early, or usually shows like that are choreographed, it's not a problem. But with Roger on the wall, he would come in, and I'd have to turn everything off but the click on one system, get it right with the other, make sure it's right. Then I'd switch to the other rig, and it's gets the heart going.
I bet it does.
But you got to have a drummer like Tom Knight that can play to it quick. So when I punch back in, if I'm a little bit ahead or behind, he goes right with it. Doesn't go, oh, that's not right.
Yeah, no.
So,
Wow.
yeah, that was always fun.
Oh, thank you. Have your keyboard skills helped you, and just knowledge of music helped you in this job?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody can really do this unless they either are a really good musician or else know a lot about music. I mean, you don't have to be a great player, but you have to have good ears, and you have to know where things are supposed to fit. And that's something you can't teach if you really don't know how to play. So you don't have to be great. You just have to know how it's supposed to sound.
I see. Speaking of musicians, what would you say are the attributes of the kind of musician that could land a gig, for example, with Mariah Carey?
What's funny is that the biggest thing, you would think it would be knowing how to play and how to be a great, fast, player, but actually the secret is knowing what not to play. I had people come in and start overplaying, playing all this bullshit, stepping all over the song, and thinking they're just showing everybody, showing off, and all they're doing is making themselves look stupid. Yeah. Just because you can play all that crap doesn't mean you should.
Right.
So you need to support the song, support the artist, and play the parts. It's that simple.
That's great. I would also imagine that personality and the ability to get along with the artist and the other guys on stage too.
Yeah, you need to be a nice guy. You need to keep your nose clean. You need to not bring some crazy bitch on the bus with you. You don't let your girlfriend eat all the food before anybody else gets on the bus. It's common sense. But you'd be surprised how many people have lost their gig because if he brings that girl out again, he's gone.
Yeah.
So it's very much about personality.
That's good.
Dan ready for us. You want to go now? Eric's waiting.
I'm going to ride with Tom, actually,
okay,
so sorry, I should have told you.
Yeah, no problem.
Just doing a quick interview here.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Okay, all right.
All right, brother. Okay, maybe just a last couple of more questions here. With all the changes, it's been 15 years since we toured together with TLC. With all the changes that have happened in the music industry, mostly physical sales declining, file sharing and digital downloads on the up, has that changed touring at all?
Well, the only way to make any money as an artist anymore is to tour, or to put on live shows, sell your live shows to HBO or somebody, but it's nobody's buying records anymore, and it's if you don't tour, you're not going to get, you won't make any money, but you got to put on a really good show now, because when you got people like Roger Waters that are putting on this masterpiece, you don't mind paying $120 a ticket. But if you're just going to go watch somebody just stand there, it's, So the touring's going to get much, much busier because there really is no other revenue stream anymore. So,
what kind of advice would you give to the up-and-coming student of music and or recording today?
Well, I think it's important to really know your instrument. And you should also know the technology. You're an idiot if you just say, well, all I want to do is play, dude, and I don't want to know about that. Because you're putting yourself into a pigeonhole, and unless you're just spectacular, you are not going to make a living. So you need to be able to play, you need to be able to handle the technology, and if for no other reason than just to record yourself and write your own music and present yourself. So I wouldn't focus on any single thing. I would learn as much as possible because knowledge is power. I know it's a cliche, but and you should learn many different software, not just one. You need to, because people. I just lost a gig with Pharrell because I refuse to use Pro Tools Live. It's like I just don't. I'll do it one song at a time, but I'm not going to run a whole show on it. I told them I'll switch it over to my rig for free. It'll be right. And they were not interested.
Yeah.
So, and I also lost a gig with 9 Inch Nails because I didn't do Ableton Live, which I now know. So,
well,
So
It's all right, though. Next time.
Bottom line, you just got to learn everything you can.
Would you mind introducing us a little bit to your setup here?
Okay. Well, basically, this is a medium-sized rig. I've got 2 rigs, and this is the A rig over here. This is the B rig right there.
Okay.
On Roger Waters, I had a 3rd rig, so I could have up to 3 systems running at once in case something went down. And I would just switch on here to go between them. This is a little bit smaller than Roger, but it's basically 72 inputs into the switcher down here. It's kind of hard to see.
That's all right. Here we go.
24 ounce. So it's way, way huge. But this tour, I think I'm using 16 ounce. So just to give the sound guy more separation. And
what happens if there's a power loss?
Well, normally we have a UPS on all the sound power. So I plug into their power, and if that goes down, then there's no sound. It doesn't matter if my stuff's up or not. So I mean,
you're covered either way.
I would like to have my own UPS, but the problem with UPS is I've found that they fail more than not. So why have something that's going to be inherently a problem?
And you don't, with those things, you don't know until it's too late.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, it's batteries. You know, and you don't know it's that the battery's not any good until the power goes away. The battery goes, oh, fuck it. You know,
and that's it.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, I'm covering up the lens here. This is such a guerrilla style recording. Mike, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to help us.
Okay.
And
happy to help.
Man, it's been great. I'm Tom Knight from the Atlanta Institute of Music and Media, and I'll see you on the next episode. Dude, that was awesome.